This is Joe Rogan speaking with political commentator Sean Ryan. To be honest with you, I didn't know who it was when I watched it. I don't know who it is now. I didn't even know who that the controversy about that singer.
Chappell Roan?
Yeah.
What do you mean? What?
I had no idea. That, like, I kept seeing like references to.
She's your favorite artist. Just keep going.
Okay. And so this is, I'll tell you why this is good. Because what I find fascinating about this is not that Joe Rogan is spectacularly wrong and completely misinformed, because that happens all the time with him. And it's good that they have him being fact-checked in real time, because I think probably Spotify is worried, particularly in the wake of this Section 230 suit against TikTok. Because I think they feel like their protections may be coming to an end, which I wholeheartedly endorse, incidentally. Because they publish him. They pay him $230 million, and they can't pretend like, oh, it's a whatever. Arm's length deal. You pay $230 million for this guy. What I find fascinating about this is the depth of conviction that Joe Rogan has about something that he obviously knows nothing about and has obviously done no work. And not just the depth of conviction about these like sort of narrow facts, but that how it is both indicative of what he reads, the depth of how he actually investigates something, but then how he begins to build out an entire worldview that is predicated on a couple of these facts and ideas that are completely wrong, right? Like this is like fully equivalent to things have gotten so out of hand that there are cat litter, that that kids are coming in and identifying as cats.
He claims he heard that from somebody he knows who works at the school.
And maybe he did, but maybe you should not believe the lunatics that you've surrounded yourself with. And misinterpret a situation where, like, in one or two classrooms in the country, people put in cat litter because in the event of a lockdown, the kids can't go to the bathroom. But putting that aside, the way that these facts he takes it and it just builds out an entire worldview, then the facts get completely, he's got them 180 degrees wrong, but it will not change his worldview one iota. It is like he builds a tent. The tent poles are made out of crepe paper. There's a little bit of a rain that comes through. The crepe paper falls apart, but the tent stays floating above. Good.
Wild thing to say. It's such a wild thing to say. And it's such a wild thing to do, like a supervillain in a Batman movie. Like some billionaire guy who likes to hire the most progressive district attorneys that's going to let people out of jail and
pause it for 1 second. Incidentally, you assume he's talking about Soros, who incidentally does not hire district attorneys. And the amount of funding that Soros puts into any district attorney race is so dwarfed. First off, George Soros has about 1/20th the amount of money that Elon Musk has.
Right.
Like, the number of billionaires on the right are huge. But this guy, in his mind, George Soros, is like, the guy from the Austin Powers movies.
Dr. Evil.
Dr. Evil, who's got the ability to control all these things. And there's no right-wingers out there. And listen to how he's convinced himself about these two stories of two district attorneys who got, some campaign money
from Soros.
From a Soros affiliated group.
I mean, come on, though. Yeah, he's Dr. Evil, or is he a puppet master trying to control everybody?
He can be both at the same time because he's that super villainous. But I just want you to understand where he's going off on this. Now, go ahead.
District attorneys that's going to let people out of jail, and then fund the next person who's more to the left of that person, and just keep pushing it, keep pushing it, keep pushing it.
Also, crime is down.
Violence in the streets, you know.
Violent crime is down.
He's done a damn good job.
How come there's no right-wing guys like that to do it the other direction?
I always wonder that too.
I always wonder that.
What?
Well, it's also like if you look at the amount of donors that donate
Pause
to
it.
the left.
Keep them up there. I always wonder that, but I don't have any mechanism in which to do even 10 minutes of research to see if it's true, because I've never seen a computer.
Timothy Mellon this cycle, Republican railroad magnate. Okay, I'm jumping the gun.
Don't jump the gun. Go.
Okay, sorry.
Well, it's also like if you look at the amount of donors that donate to the left versus donate to the right. Have you ever seen that chart?
No.
Whoa, I've seen that chart.
The left gets so many more donations than the right does. Like, it's a giant difference.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know, man. I think a lot of rich people feel guilty, and they get into philanthropy, and it also is a good way to cover their ass and make them look like better people. And the people that really go after you, if they don't think you're a good person, are generally the left. So if you could like throw them a little cheddar, you're like,
Pause it. Don't take him down. This is a theory of someone who has spent a lot of time thinking about this, right? This is his whole explanation for what motivates people who come out with stuff about the left. What motivates this? He's wrong about crime. And so like think of all the things that could spin off. He could spend 2 hours philosophizing based upon this belief that he has about the funding on the left. Go.
so if you could like throw them a little cheddar, you're like,
I wonder
on your side.
I wonder if they're buying their place outside of the rules. Like, hey, I donated to your thing. You know, I don't have to live by these fucking rules.
Got to be a little bit of that in there, you know?
What do you got, shows Jamie? The top donors to OpenSecrets.org. 6 of the top 7 are Republicans.
Oh,
individual donors.
Individual donors. What I was talking about was like they showed a
Pause
chart.
it for a second. Okay, wait. Now he is talking about, now you can put me up there because we're going into phase 2 now. Oh, everything I was just saying about George Soros as an individual donor, that's not what I meant. That's not what I was talking about. That's not what I was talking about. That they were doing it because they don't want to be attacked personally, right? They don't want to be attacked personally. That's not what I was referencing when I said personally they don't want to be attacked and how they can operate outside the rules. No, that wasn't what I was talking about. I was talking about a different chart that I saw, which, and I think, folks, you know how this story works out. Go.
6 of the top 7 are Republicans.
Oh,
individual donors.
Individual donors. What I was talking about was like they showed a chart that had like Google, Facebook, all these mega corporations that were donating. So this is like individual donors.
Yeah.
Pause it for a second.
Wow, some guys.
Now, the chart that he saw was not about these corporations giving money. It was probably the workers at these corporations. Okay? And he doesn't know that. Look, he doesn't need, he only takes from data what he needs to verify or validate what his right-wing friends that he all hangs around with, whether it's at the mothership or wherever it is, what they tell him, which they also don't spend any time looking it up. So he saw this chart, Facebook, Google, bar graph. They give, look at that, 70% goes to Democrats. Now, it's the people who work there. It's the workers. Go ahead.
Individual donors. What I was talking about was like they showed a chart that had like Google, Facebook, all these mega corporations that were donating. So this is like individual donors.
Yeah.
Wow, some guys donated $105 million. Wow.
That guy's
probably worth billions. That's probably some sort of a write-off too, isn't it?
Oh, pause it. Incidentally, just because you have billions of dollars doesn't make the 105 million you give less influential. right? I mean, it's like, oh, he's only giving 2% of his net worth. So that doesn't really count as to what I'm talking about. I mean, that's one of the dumbest constructs. You'd have to work for a week to sit down and come up with a dumber excuse there. But I will also tell you this, just to give you a sense of how much depth he has put into this, to his proclamations about how the left, remember how he started this, the left has so much more money out there, and they're buying off the district attorneys, raising the crime rates have dropped. All of this, he's thought, like, he has an entire worldview around this. Political donations are in no way even remotely tax deductible.
He conflates philanthropy with political donations. That's not how it works, buddy.
He doesn't have a single clue. Anything that is other than his opinion. Like I say, tent poles made out of crepe paper, and as soon as they fall apart, he just shifts over to keep that tent up. Go ahead.
But that guy's probably worth billions. That's probably some sort of a write-off too, isn't it? That's pretty crazy. Go to top corporation donations via party. Because that's the chart that I was looking for. It's just nuts to see how much money overall is being spent to push the Democratic Party. It's pretty extreme. You know, and you got to think, what are they getting out of that? Like, what's the end goal? And how could you look at what's going on right now and go, this is great?
Sometimes I think it is a complete facade.
This is the number one. This is corporations.
Mm-hmm.
So they donate more than Google.
Top contributors, organizations, federal contributions.
So 82 million is the top one, and that's Empower Parents, PAC, and these are right wing. Is that why it's red?
I'd assume so.
So it seems like the top four. Why? What is that Google chart that I was saying? And I don't even see Google on this. Alphabet? Would they put it under Alphabet?
Oh, it must be because it's under a different name.
It's exactly what you describe. It's the totality of the employees, which hey, if you're just like writing a term paper in college, you could make that mistake. Oh, a little, red marker from your professor. Hey, you should probably look into what the corporations are donating to as it relates to, like, say, super PACs or dark money, what organizations they're funneling it into, not the totality of the contributions from the individual employees. Yeah, that's going to tilt, if like the top companies are Google or Alphabet, it's going to tilt a little bit more democratic because it's like, what, upper middle class professionals, they're donating to political campaigns. You want to get into the big money, buddy? You know where that trends.
I mean, look. What the Democrats get is extreme, according to him. Now, personally, I don't subscribe to the ideology that all his friends do, that corporations are people and that there should be unlimited spending. But the Republican-dominated Supreme Court has shot down every campaign finance law that we could possibly have, has found in a series of court cases that go back to the 70s that money is speech, corporations are people, et cetera, et cetera. But for the Democrats to be extreme in the amount of money that they range, I mean, like, how many times much money that would they have to raise than Republicans? 2 times more to be extreme? Mm-hmm. 3 times more? 4 times more? Just looking at the 2022 congressional races, spending was almost $9 billion. This is according to Open Secrets. New record. Republicans spent roughly $4.2 billion. Democrats spent roughly $4 billion. In other words, not 2 times more, but actually marginally less. And that doesn't even include outside spending groups,
right? Which
Republicans completely dominated. Completely dominate.
I mean, I'm looking at a chart here from the Washington Post. It makes it abundantly clear. The donations by top 50 individuals and organizations to committees that are mostly, it's Republican leaning is $910.9 million this cycle. Democrats, it's 481.3 million. And then supportive of both parties is 219.3 million. If you want Bradley to pull this chart up really quickly.
PAC contributions in 2022 were about $344 million. This is the disclosed stuff. Again, according to Open Secrets, $154 million, $154 million to Democrats, $189 million to Republicans, 45 to 55%. Which I guess by extreme, he means slightly less than the Republicans spent. Here is the top donations by individuals.
And organizations to these committees. Does that look?
That's extreme Democrat money spending, if you mean about half of what Republicans get. I mean, and it's, look, people make mistakes. He's not a political commentator, but he comes on there, and of course he's the biggest show out there that exists. He is influencing people. He has these, well-developed theories that he espouses that the guy sitting across the desk from, whether he knows or not, the reality of what he's talking about is not going to push back because he wants to be invited back on the show. And just spouts this part off. And even after he is like completely proven wrong,
yeah,
it doesn't shake the conclusions he's already drawn from that completely fake statistics in his head.
And when he asks, what are they getting out of it? Why don't you answer that question yourself? Like, if you really think that Soros and these big Democratic mega donors are funding district attorneys' races so that there can be more crime in the streets again, violent crime down, property crime down this year, what are they getting out of it? Answer your question. If you're going to put the premise out there, put some theories out there, but the entire premise is undercut by a Google search by his producer.
Yeah. I mean, I think I know. I have a pretty good idea where that premise might lead.
Yeah, right. Let's go back to how Soros is a puppet master. He's so dumb.
I don't mind dumb people.
I know.
I really don't. Like, I feel like, we have conversations, every day on this program with people who are smarter than us. But when you combine that level of willful ignorance, thoughtlessness, and total arrogance that you're right, and also sort of like just, spouting this stuff off. I mean, he did it with COVID. Yeah, I think he probably continues to. It's just profitable for him. That's all. He doesn't care. He's just wants to be richer and richer. That's it. It's it. And maintain his blue collar affectation.
Yeah, dude, how rich can you be though?
Oh, you can get richer. You can get richer. Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.